There we go. We got it started, and let's get Linda online here. Okay, so everyone, good morning to you. And let's see, Maria, I see you. I see you there. Good morning. All right, it should be good afternoon there. All right, good to see you. And Linda, thank you for joining us. So we're just getting started. So I wanted to say, it looks like I'm going to have a call here with all ladies this morning. So how are you doing? I'm glad to see each one of you from your different areas. Mary, you were saying you're home finally. I know you do a lot of traveling as because I think you do travel nursing. Is that right? Is that what happens?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that makes you move around a lot. Great. Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Glad to be home. Glad to
Good.
see you all. I haven't been on a long time.
Absolutely. Good to see you as well. So here's what we do here on the Rubicon system. We have an ability here to have a broader focus of what we talk about. And the reason why I started this a number of weeks back is just to be able to spend time with you to understand on a broader scope, not just from an author or authority standpoint, but what is it that we can do to help you better your life, to create that world around you that is going to allow you to perform and allow you to take your authority at any level, to tell your story, but basically to have a life that is on purpose, and how to use that purpose on a focused basis so that you produce the results that you're trying to produce. And the most important thing that you can focus on, that Rubicon is about, which is my performance system that I wrote, put together in 2015. I've taught probably several thousand individuals that have come through there with me. The program was designed and focused on an ancient Latin phrase that's amnat curiam victoriam. And if I'm saying that old dead language of Latin correctly, the translation is correct. And the translation is victory loves preparation. And in order for us to have the victory that we're focusing on, whether it's something that we want to do at the end of the day, something we want to do at the end of the month, at the end of the year, or at the end of our life, all of that is going to depend on our preparation. If we try to wing it, which is the way most of us do life, just because life is difficult, life is busy, and you just get caught in that process of just, kind of stumbling forward and trying to keep yourself from just doing a faceplant. How many of you feel like that? That's how life feels too many times. And I know, in those kind of situations, the thing that you always come back to is you take an accounting, okay? You have to be accountable. And the accounting is about, why is your life? Why does your life feel like that it is just a falling forward, kind of flailing around like a fish out of water? And you know that your results are not the results that you want. And the big question that comes back to you all the time is, well, I'm trying to do all of these things. And how many of all these things feel like it's just overwhelming? You feel confused. You feel like, which one do I do first? Which one do I concentrate on most? And here's the big thing. Which ones do I let go of and get rid of? And you've heard me make that statement before. You've got to be willing to let good things fail to do what?
To accomplish better things.
To accomplish the great things. There is a limited continuum that we have as human beings in this thing called life, okay, that the Creator put us at. And that means that we are linear beings, okay? We can't be in multiple places at the same time. We can't jump around in this thing called time. We get to live time moment by moment by moment in a linear fashion. And so if we have the same amount of hours in the day that our sun rotates around, that we have light, someone put that together once upon a time and said, you get 24 of these things called hours. And in the 24 hours, we get 60 minutes. And in 60 minutes, we get 60 seconds. And they created these things called rules, okay? It's how our world is governed by this thing called Chronos, okay? That was a Greek, I believe it was a Greek, maybe Latin god, Chronos, which was the god of time. And whoever imagined before then, we had a sun disk, okay? And it told us how the sun moved, and it used the shadowing to give us a time idea of where we were supposed to be, when we were supposed to be there, how long we were going to stay when we came back. So this is how our life is ordered. We don't actually create time. Time is how we function inside of this thing called, this linear thing called life. So what is the thing about time that we have to focus on? It's limited, right? I don't get the privilege of having 25 hours and Mary only gets 24 and Linda gets 22. There's no such thing. We all get the same. And the clock, if you will, the sands of time all move exactly identical, don't they? Okay. So if we all have one of those little hourglasses. We turn it upside down. My sand is going to run the same way as yours, Maria, as yours, Mary, as yours, Jill. All of those are the same. Okay, so we all know those are static. No one gets any preference or preferential treatment. So we have to then become good managers of our time. So how do we get this thing called productivity, where we get more performance in the fixed thing called time, right? Is that what we're all focused on here? That is the key thing, is how do we get our minutes, our moments, our seconds, our hours, our days? How do we get them to be more valuable? How do we get them to perform? And that is about planning, practicing, and preparation. So your planning and your practice and your preparation, those three factors don't allow you to change time. They don't allow us to do anything other than the Creator gave to us, but to make our time more efficient and to do the big factor called effectiveness. Effectiveness and efficiency, they sound like they're synonyms, don't they? How many of you thought those were synonyms before we started today? They are not, okay? And I'll give you the distinction between those. How many of you create a to-do list every day? Raise your hands. How many of you do that? Okay. So you create a to-do list, okay? And how do you know when you get something done? What do you do?
Check it off.
You check it off, okay? Does anybody kind of put a line through it? That's how I do. I put a line through it. That's done, okay? Some people put a check mark, okay? Boom, that's done. Does anybody use a different procedure? Some people use a highlighter. I've seen that. And then some people mark it through with a black marker. Everybody's got their own little version, okay? But it's basically we're getting things done, right? Now, if you use a check mark system, writing to the to-do list down, do you know that that puts you in the top 10% of all human beings walking around on the planet? Amazing, huh? If you make a to-do list, you are already in the top 10%. Why? What does everybody else do? Nothing.
Yeah, just
they just wake up and they stumble out of bed and they keep stumbling until they land back in bed that night. Their life has zero to do with purpose. It is whatever is the next thing that is the fire on the front of my plate. And I just handle that. And then they get back that evening. And what do they feel like? Oh my gosh, I just spent all this time. I spent my time. Listen to what they say. I spent my time. I don't know what I did. I hated every moment of it because I don't remember having anything that felt good to me. And now I'm back at the end of the day feeling what? Unworthy. I wasted my day. I wasted my time. I didn't feel that there was anything meaningful or full of meaning. How many of you have felt this way? Yeah.
I'm sure.
And so what's the solution to that? The solution to that is we have to change the format of how we are using the linear thing called time. And we can't get more of it. We all get identical the same. So we have to use the time better. And that means not just writing down what we're supposed to do. That makes us efficient. So that puts us in the top 10%. That means that we actually are paying attention to life and saying, here's the things I need to do. I'm going to the grocery store today. Here's the 20 or 30 things I need to get for my icebox or my cabinets so that I have something to eat for the next 2 weeks, right? Everybody do that? Some people just go down the store and they just start taking the cart and they're running through the store and they're grabbing this or that. How efficient is that? Because they're going to get home and what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, I forgot. I didn't get the soup that goes with the rice. Well, now I don't have a meal, right? Because they were inefficient, right? That's efficiencies. So that's one way to beat this thing of stumbling through life, totally meaningless, and just banging your head into walls, okay, is you start making a list. But then what's the next step for those people that want to go from the top 10% to the top 1%? So the 10% of the 10%, how do you get to top 1%?
Categorize which is the most important to get done.
And what is that called?
And do it.
Called effectiveness.
Effectiveness.
Okay, so efficiency puts you in the top 10%, and that's writing the list down, okay? What am I going to do today? Effectiveness says, what order am I going to do today?
Order.
Okay, the effectiveness is asking yourself this very important question. Which task on my list of efficient tasks is most important for me to accomplish first and foremost today? Okay. Now, if you ask yourself that question, you're still missing something. Just asking yourself what's most effective still begs the question of most effective to do what, to accomplish what, to go where, to get what thing done. Does that make sense? So you have to ask the bigger question, which is, what is it that I'm doing that makes my life matter? Making my life matter means it has to have a definition. It has to have a meaning for it to be full of meaning. If you just decide, Mary, you're in San Antonio, you just decide that I want to go to Orlando, I'm going to Disney World, and you just walk out and get in your car and start driving. Could you do that?
It would be crazy.
It would be crazy. You're exactly right. Could you do that though?
Yes.
Sure you could. That's how most people do life. But they don't even know what their destination is, that they want to go to Disney World. They just walk out, put their key in the car of their life, crank it, start driving, and then they won't wonder why I'm on the side of the road here and this thing stopped. It just stopped running. Well, it's out of gas. Well, I didn't think about that. You mean I'm supposed to figure out how to fuel myself correctly so that I don't run out of gas during the middle of where I'm supposed to be going? Yes. Okay. But I'm being slightly facetious here, but isn't that how you see a lot of people running their life? With their chicken with their head cut off. And then they wonder, oh my God, why is my life so much living hell? You ask for it, because by not defining it and making it purposeful, you have created a world that is absent purpose and without meaning. So whose fault is that? Well, we could go down the list and we could blame mom and dad. We could blame the minister. We could blame your college professors. We could blame your neighbors and your friends and all these other people. At the end of the day, whose fault is it? This guy. We got to take responsibility for ourselves. So if we're going to take responsibility for our life, then we got to ask the question, okay, how would I have a better life if I had that opportunity? What would I start doing? I don't know. I'm not a really smart guy. What if I went and found those individuals that produce at the top of the game of this thing called life, and I decided to mimic what are the habits that the people that produce that constantly perform at the top 10%, or how about the top 10% of the top 10%? What actions or habits or routines or regimens do these individuals, both men and women, that have exactly what? Same amount of hours, minutes, days, weeks, and years in their life as we do. Their time does not run any different than ours. They have 24 hours a day, and guess what else they have to do? They have to sleep. They have to stop to what? Refuel. They have to eat, right? Hopefully they take a shower somewhere along the way. Most people do, okay? And then somewhere along the way, they're going to have some social interaction. We're social beings. And ultimately, they're going to have that other thing that they're going to call work. Some people call it job. Some people call it their life purpose. Those all have entirely different things, and that's going to take a different session than the one we're on today. What we're focusing on today is how to use this static medium called time that we all have identical, but yet one person called Oprah Winfrey gets so many things done in her day, right? That her life is magnitudes more effective than Steve's. How does she do that? Does she have more hours, 10 times more hours in the day to earn 1,000 times more money than I do? Yes or no? Does her time clock run different? No. Her watch is identical. Okay. So what is it that allows Oprah, or pick somebody else, Richard Branson? Okay. I'm just picking people off the top of my hand that I know do incredible things for this world, but they're insanely busy, but yet they have the same amount of hours than me. So what is it that I could do to improve my level of performance? That's why I built Rubicon. It's always about performance. So plan, preparation, and practice. They operate on those three levels better than Steve does. And for that, it's not about the money. Money is a measurement of the amount or the capability of what you do in this thing called time. It is your grade for your effectiveness, because money is a representation of the number of problems that you're helping to solve. Does Oprah Winfrey solve problems that are bigger than Steve Moreland? Yes or no? Yes. She's incredibly capable of doing that. How about Richard Branson? How about Jeff Bezos? Okay. Are all of those individuals solving problems at a level that Steve has not figured out how to get to yet? Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. And they are being rewarded because they are accomplishing those things because they have decided to create a life that has more meaning. To be more meaning, you have to be more full of meaning. That means you have to build a bigger meaning. So your life has to go from not focused on those efficient things we started talking about a few minutes ago. Okay, they're on the list, right?
Right.
Those things that are efficient, okay, they cause us a lot of distractions. They take up our time. And when we let good things that are efficient things take up our time, what does that not allow us to do with those things that are effective, that are more full of meaning?
They don't get done.
They don't get done. So you have to be the judge. That is what the Creator gave us, a thing called choice. We have choice every single day, every single moment of every day. And we get to do what? We get to choose to live meaningless or more meaningful. And if you want to live more meaningful, you have to start digging into these things about how do I spend my time? Am I going to just be satisfied with being in the top 10% by building a list and becoming efficient? Cool. And at the end of the day, what do you do when you're an efficient person and you see all those to-dos and you see the lines through them or the check marks? You go, yeah, I had a really great day. And you did. And I'm applauding you, really, sincerely, I am, because you are already in the top 10%. If you're making a list, you're checking it twice, okay? And you're going down there and making sure those things are getting done. That is so much more than 9/10 of the people that walk around our planet with a life that has zero meaning. And then they wonder at the end of the day, why isn't life have more meaning to me? Why isn't life feel more valuable? Whose fault is that? It's their own. But no one has taught them to ask the question, how do I start figuring out how to do something different? Oh, I just got to go mimic those people that are in books, that are on YouTube, that are on the television. And guess what they do? They give away their content. You can go to a library right now and go pick up a Tony Robbins book like I did 30-something years ago, or pick up Napoleon Hill, or pick up How to Win Friends and Influence People, all these fantastic manuals that tell you how to do what? How to have meaning. By establishing the meaning and asking yourself the question, what is full of meaning mean to me? That is what you have a thing called choice. It's, what am I looking for? Free will. It's what the Creator gave us. You have a right to decide what's meaningful to you. And when you define that, you have to first ask the question, and it can change over time as your life moves and you mature and things happen. You can alter what you decide is meaningful or more meaningful. And as you make those decisions, what you should be doing then is saying, okay, every day that I have my time, I built my list. Now, which one of these things on my list do I need to accomplish today that will take me toward achieving that bigger thing called a goal that I've defined as my meaning? Do you see how this all connects together? It's very important. And that's why prepping the objective is what I call as my daily morning task that makes sure that I have my compass, my bearing of what am I supposed to do today? Where am I supposed to go? I have X number of hours in front of me. I just woke up. I begin my morning preparation that I use. It's a military term called PTO, prepping the objective, okay? I learned this from Staff Sergeant Cisneros. And Cisneros had a very dangerous job every single day as he and his armored unit went in and out of the green zone, went to Baghdad International Airport and got very high value assets that flew in there that were civilians. They put them into armored vehicles and they had to move them through a very dangerous environment. And they had to make sure that those civilians got back and forth from one place to the other, and there could not be any failure. Zero possibility for loss. Can't happen. Okay, now that is a very big mission every day, what they're doing. Do we have a mission in our life that is equally as important? I do.
Mhm.
And if you don't, then you need to up your game.
Yeah.
You need to know what is it that you need to do, that you are expending this thing called life, the breath that you're taking in and the breath that you're pushing out. The Creator gave you each one of those. And we don't know when the last one is going to happen. So we can't perfectly plan. I have 3,000 breaths left. We don't know that. So that means we always need to be focused on what is the most important thing I should be doing with this precious thing called life that the Creator breathed into me, that imbued me with this thing. And in my opinion, because I honor the sacred. I try to keep that in the front of my consciousness all the time and think, how do I honor the sacred by spending this thing called life? And the next breath that I am expending and breathing back in, how do I use that in a way that helps me become my better version so that I can have a greater impact at doing what the Creator put me here for in this thing called reality?
Mhm.
That's a little heavy for some people. They're like, geez, Steve, that's kind of a lot. I just like that thing where I'm like a leaf. I just jump into the stream and I go willy-nilly down there and I just kind of hang out wherever I go, and I get pushed over here and I get caught over there. And I don't know why life doesn't feel good to me. Come on, really? There is your answer. So you have to create your list that makes you efficient. Asking the question of which thing on my list is going to move me toward this ultimate thing called meaning in my life. What does that allow you to do? That allows you to switch from being efficient to being effective. Now, when you're effective, you are now spending your things on the most important things. You're being an Oprah or a Richard Branson. You are figuring out that a lot of these things that I really like on my list, I have to let them go. I have to let them fail, or maybe I can delegate them to someone else, but they have to get off of my list. I cannot use my time if I'm to become more valuable doing things that impede me, that disrupt my level of valuableness. I can't do everything. We are not omnipotent like the Creator is. We can't be every place all at the same time. Did I use that right? No, omnipresent. Omnipresent means everywhere at the same time. Omnipotent means all powerful, right? There we go. Okay. So we have to be omnipresent. Okay. We don't have that. We can't be everywhere all at the same time. We have a certain place to be. We need to be at that place that's helping us accomplish the choice and the judgment in our life of how we expend the moment to do those things that allow us to be most effective. Most effective means most meaningful. When you spend your day, your waking consciousness, striving to focus on the things that are full of meaning, what will happen to you at the end of your day when you're about to go to sleep again? What will happen when you take and you reconcile your time and you say, did I act as a good steward today of the minutes that I was given, the breath that the Creator gave me? Did I invest it in something that was effective, efficient, or irrelevant? That's going to help you cut down how much time you're spending on your Facebook feed, just flipping along there, seeing what's going on, who posted this other stuff about a cat playing a piano. Yeah, okay, they're kind of cool. I've watched them too, but I try to make sure I don't stop as often, right, to watch the cat playing the piano. Help me. Okay. I'm being slightly facetious. Has everybody watched a cat play the piano? Has anybody watched that, or is it just me?
I have seen it. I just go by it, but
Okay.
I agree with you. That's just, and it's like it pulls you in and holds you there. And I think, what am I doing? This is too much
Good.
time.
But good. See how you ask yourself the question, what am I doing? Am I really allowing my attention, which is where your mental focus is, And where does your attention, what is your attention limited by, Mary? It's in the framework of this thing called time.
Yeah.
So when you understand that time is linear, and inside time, I get a choice not to just choose what I'm doing in the minute of this measurement of time, but I also get to do, where do I put my mental consciousness inside of the thing called a minute, inside of a thing called an hour. We are in charge of our attention. And Mary, you have great restraint, because you looked at the same thing I looked at and said, I'm not going to watch that cat play the piano. Oh my gosh. Okay. I got sucked into it once, maybe twice. Okay. Hopefully it hasn't been more than that. But my point is there's lots of things. It's not just a cat playing a piano.
Right.
There's all kinds of stuff out there that are designed to distract us from doing what is full of meaning. And unless we exercise that discipline to the thing called attention, to say, wait a minute, I have to let that video that was sent to me by some, not even friend, some associate, I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. I delete it. And if it hurts their feelings, guess what? Not a problem. I have a responsibility, in my opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion. I am accountable to my creator. He gave me X number of breaths, X number of moments. And right now, I don't know how many he gave me. What I don't want to do is to stand in front of the accounting, called the judgment, if you believe in that, and have to stand in front of my creator and say, I spent 50% of my life watching cat videos. Sounds kind of stupid, right? But how many people have spent their life in that kind of irrelevancies? Yeah, that's what I feel. That's the thing that I continue to press myself towards, that greater mission, okay? That greater thing of accomplishing and using the time that the creator gave me to move myself towards something that has more meaning. And if I'm asking myself constantly how to have more meaning, what does that mean that I have to be doing?
Focusing on.
That means I have to focus, but I have to ask the question too, is what is meaning to begin with? I have to ask the question to start with. What is meaning, in order for me to know where to have meaningfulness? And if you're not defining your life, if you're not defining your goals, then you're not defining your attention, where I'm going to spend my time, not just efficiently, but where I'm going to spend it effectively. Does everybody understand how all this connects now? So now I'm letting good things fail to do those things that are great. Great meaning what? Great according to my definition, my judgment of what has more meaning, and what I'm going to do to accomplish more meaning, to become my better version, is I'm going to plan, practice, and prepare to do what? To passionately perform. That's the thing. That's the thing when you see a magnificent event and you see the maestro and you see the orchestra, or you see the ballet, or you walk into a museum and you see this magnificent expression, right? Whether it's a sculpture or a painting, or you walk up to an amazing piece of architecture and you go, oh my gosh, how wow, right? Right? And you get that wow, okay? Did that happen by accident? Did that happen because somebody decided to be willy-nilly? Did that happen because somebody was like, yeah, let me stick some of this metal together with some glass and some 2x4s, and we'll just kind of see how it happens at the end? No. They started off with a blank piece of paper, and they defined, what does meaning mean to me? What is this piece of architecture or art or music or expression? What am I supposed to do with this talent that the creator gave me? How do I express it so that it has the most magnificent level of meaningfulness? And I have X amount of time to get it done. That means I have to say no, 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 no to all these other things that are called distractions. They are trying to take my attention and deviate them to go watch a cat video, or take my attention and go over here to do something else that is what? Good, but not great. You're not going to have a ton of friends when you start making these decisions, because you're going to stop showing up at those places that don't have as much meaning. And it's not for you to judge them. That's not what this is designed for. It's you judging you. If you take care of you and you define what your meaning is, then one day when this thing happens, the great accounting, the reconciliation, then you don't have to explain to the creator that gave you this most amazing thing that, yeah, I spent 50% of my time watching those stupid cat videos. I'm not going to do that. I apologize for the time that I did do. I got a little laugh, thought it was kind of goofy, actually wondered who spends their time videoing cats playing the piano. Don't know this, don't care. Okay, got to let it go. Got to go find out what are those things that produces a Matt Morris. What kind of things does he think about? What order does he create his morning? How does he prepare his objective? Letting those good things have to go. Can you imagine? I've seen Matt's inbox on his email inbox on his desktop. I've seen it. Okay. I thought mine was bad. His is insane. How does he do it? He has a system. He doesn't willy-nilly it. So if you're going to produce performance like Matt, how are you going to have to do that? Find out his pattern. And when you find out what his pattern is, you get a chance to duplicate it. It's not that hard, guys. All right. So I know we're over time. I hope everybody got the message ahead of time that we were moving 30 minutes more. So anyway, I've got to, Blanca, good to see you there. Glad to have you online. And Linda, great to have you there as well. Lisa, I saw you there a minute ago. Great to have you online. And I'm going to post this up here in a little bit. And then next week, I've got a meeting at 7 o'clock. I'm actually 4 minutes late for, but I have something that has pushed itself into my calendar that I can't make a difference on because it is something that is meaningful, and it is something that produces a great result. And it is something that I had to adjust my limited number of time. This is still extremely important for me to be meaningful with you and to share insights that I have from my 30 plus years in business and in life and trying to focus on this thing of becoming my better version. And when I share it with you, I want you to be able to share it with other people, but also remember to share those things that you've learned, not just the stuff that you've learned from me or from Matt or from Oprah or from Richard Branson, but share your version of what you have learned in order for you to become your best version of yourself. Okay. Love each one of you. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Steve.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.